There's a jungle out. There's a jungle out. There's a jungle out there and the hunt is on. A jungle out there and the hunt is on. We gonna hunt you down. We gonna hunt you down. We gonna come, we ain't playing, it's the last thing on our minds. Go crime much if you really wanna stop crime. Be safe in your home, be safe in the streets. It's a cold place and I'm really feeling the heat. I never wear gold cause someone's always peeping by the fence. I still crime much, came and give TNT confidence. I had a dream in the dark, I had a dream in the spring. I had a dream like Martin Luther King. Take me friendly on the phone so you can call us. We ain't gonna call you back, say they don't know if you call us. Say what you gonna do now, we all coming through now. There's a jungle out there and the hunt is on. A jungle out there and the hunt is on. We gonna hunt you down. We gonna hunt you down. There's a jungle out there and the hunt is on. A jungle out there and the hunt is on. We gonna hunt you down. We gonna hunt you down. We gonna come, we ain't play.
Yes, I think this screen. I'm going to go through on behalf of BP, the safety briefing. Okay. There is no evacuation plan for today. If you hear the alarm, we will evacuate the facility. There are two main evacuation routes from this room. One, the same way you entered, you can also exit. Use the staircase. Use the staircase and go down to the front floor or two. Use the emergency exit on the western side of the room. Point to after the men's bathroom. The men's bathroom is on my right, it will be your left. Okay? Care should be taken as you use the staircase, as there are sometimes furniture left in the staircase. Always take your time and use the handrails while descending the stairs. 4. The muster point is located on the southern wall of the facility, in close proximity to the security booth, where you drove in on the eastern entrance of the facility. 5. Point out the location, which is on the mentioned before. It is on my left, and it is on your left. Sorry, my left, it is on your right. Okay? So you enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you again for coming.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, because we first begin as brothers and sisters, then we become men and women, and fathers and mothers, aunts and uncles, so we are all members of the one human family and the one God. So to get the proceedings started immediately, we're going to have the national anthem done on the speak time by Cal Akantara, followed by the opening prayers sung by Filippo McAllister. So as we stand to the national anthem, as soon as it's finished, we go straight into the opening prayer, and then I will join you once again.
Of
I will make a slight deviation on the program. I want to call Zach Medina up front to represent the First Nations people together with Queen Donna. Because while we pay tribute to Almighty God, this land had guardians, the First Nations people. And I think it is fitting that I will allow them to do an invocation so that we may have the rite of passage as we journey on. Queen Donna from the Warao and Zach Medina from the Mapuyo people.
Welcome to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm thanking everybody for dignitaries, Mr. Family, leading towards that. I will let Chris Zachary give more reference.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the chief organizer of the Mapuyo people of the Arima Mission, and I am working in collaboration with the Warao people of the Southwestern Peninsula. I have written something today for this special occasion for all these important people. Great and powerful Creator of all things, we are here and we are all one. Great be the force of the Creator and the ancestors to the north, the south, the east, and to the west. Great be the gathering of all indigenous peoples for today and always. We fight for the freedom of our people and our right to survive. Great be the force of the Mapuyo nation and the Warao nation and the spirit of the Creator and the ancestors that guide us upon our journey. Freedom of our mind, soul, and body is our main source. Our spirit we have made our journey as Mapuyo and Warao warriors that are sworn to protect our mother the earth. For the future of our generation to come, the earth is and will always be the main source, main sacred element that we protect. We have been guided generation to generation of meaningful knowledge that we can now stand and see we the indigenous people have survived the genocide and destruction of religion and the way that we have erased our mind of our culture and tradition. But we rise. Aho, aho, yatahi. Protect the future of our children. Thank you.
Welcome to everyone. Alleyne.
So it's nice to see to welcome each and every one of you. I'm ready when I'm not sure I'm ready. You know, on any event, while you're preparing, as you get closer and closer to the moment, there's something that happens in the stomach. Those enzymes begin to summon some butterflies, you know, and this is a very auspicious moment. It's a very defining moment in time. And there's so many things happening in the world that sometimes we need to pause for a moment and to really understand what is happening. We need to pause for a moment and summon the illustrious amongst us, the thinkers, the builders, the workers, those that labor in the vineyard without price, nor favor, nor fear, nor for any accolades or recognition, but simply doing what they feel inspired to do, what they have been sent upon this earth to do. And this evening is such an evening. My duty is to welcome you. I'm going to try to collapse a 10-hour speech in 3 minutes. Is that okay? So I want to just tell you some snapshots or some snippets of our journey. Our journey in particular, and I want to reflect upon 1991, September 30th to be specific, when we experienced the apparitions of Our Lady of the Roses in St. Anne's, Trinidad. And that led us into a world ministry, a global ministry, that saw us in interaction with heads of states, temporal leaders, political leaders, social leaders around the world. And in the early days, as we began the mission, the emphasis was on the messenger. And then the Holy Spirit taught us, you must decrease that Christ may increase. So that an organization was instructed to be formed, the Rose Foundation, so that the focus will be upon the message and not the messenger. Because the message was not ours, the message was Jesus Christ. And so we began. And it has taken us into many places and many spaces, which I will not get into at this point in time. As a result, we have built relationships and connectivity with like-minded people, not of their choice, but by divine order, that they too were sent into the world because the world is diverse, and God gave His Spirit to all men, in all language, all tongues, all kindreds of nations, so that we have brothers and sisters all over the world in their own disciplines and their own specific ways, making a valuable contribution to building a world of peace for the survival and the benefit of humankind. So today, what we are seeking to do, as I welcome you on behalf of the Academy for Universal Global Peace, and the Chief Governor is here, you will hear from him shortly, and the United Nations University for Global Peace in conjunction with the Rose Foundation, is to share a moment with you and to recognize what you have been doing, and to also encourage you to continue being who you are and to do more. For whom much is given, much is required. But sometimes the reward for good work is more work. Right? And with that more will come sometimes, not some pleasant days. You know? And I want to leave this with you before I go further. I've been saying to a group of young people recently to be very careful which voices they listen to. Many of the radio programs, I do not listen to them. They are aggravations to my spirit. That is, in the language, is chaining up the young people. So what we hope to do is to tap into the concept of the square root of 1. So with the square root of 1, if we can get 1% of the population to have the same psychic investment, then we need not say anything. But that energy, that spirit from that psychic investment will trigger a change, a domino effect. And not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but the square root of 1 across the world. We know in our country today, there's a lot of crime of all kinds. And there's so many operational plans to try to, one, avoid the crime, transfer the crime, or mitigate the crime. But what we observe is that the approach is metaphorical and it is on the surface. And we have to go into some, I will pause to recognize Captain Gary Griffith, Commissioner of Police, who is not joining us. Could we welcome Commissioner of Police? Welcome, sir. And so they continue. So what we recognize is that there's some neurological issues, there's some physiological issues, some genetic issues, and that there's some other influences in the music, in the food, and the lifestyle that predisposes certain elements of our human family in Trinidad and Tobago to regress back into hunter-gatherer society, which is manifested in the language, eat a food, hunter-gatherer, go look for it, the nomadic culture. And one of the great philosophers says that when a society is taken into a state of moral decadence, the language becomes corrupted and polluted. If you listen to the new dialect, the new verbiage, it is indeed a corrupted language. So they want to describe a person of beauty, and they say, look at that horse, look at that donkey, look at that chassis. You know what I mean, right? She's sick, boy. So a beautiful woman, and they say she's sick. So the psychic investment creates all the negative and the unwanted behaviors, which becomes a subculture and now prevails upon our society as a dominant lifestyle. But more than anything else, we should observe is the power of the minority to hold the majority at ransom. And if we understand the power of the majority, the minority, then we can become the minority to change the force of that minority, that the majority may indeed experience a life and live in a culture of peace for the good of all, and that our society can once again be the place it was intended to be, paradise, the land of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Holy Trinity. I will leave two tidbits to you as I welcome you. To the Chinese, in Mandarin, Trinidad is known as Trinidad, which means 1,000 miles a ride. And the greatest destination that an Asian can make is the journey of 1,000 miles. To the Germans, Trinidad is the center of the universe. So that the domicile of the Tobago was to be on the periphery of the centrifugal energy to tap into it from a centripetal perspective, that they may elevate their nation. If they go back to the old folk song, Trinidad, Tobago is the land of tomorrow. Princess Majesty, come Tobago for holiday. That's another conversation. And to the Nipuyo people, this was the Mecca. So not only the Wawao and the Nipuyo, the Siboney, etc., and they traveled across the earth through the subterranean tunnels that exist on this land and can take us as far as China. So I want to say to you that we are in a very special place. And if we do not understand how unique and special this land is, this nation is, then we will not take our responsibility as custodians and guardians to preserve it in all perpetuity. So this evening, we welcome you. And we take the time out to honor you. We know some of you in the work that you do, you're vilified, you're maligned, you face all manners of negatives, but you sow your own. And we're taking the time to see your work does not go unobserved or unseen. And for the Commissioner of Police, I found it very interesting. When His Excellency Dr. Khalil told me, he said, when I come to Trinidad, they may recognize Ms. Nicole Dyer, please. Welcome. He said, two persons we want to honor, and this is coming from New Yorker, Captain Gary Griffith and Ian Alleyne. What is the message? Why did I point this out? When you're operating nationally, and you think it's just on a national scale, the world is looking. And it takes men and women who are differentiated, who are not in the herd nor the pack, to be and to make that critical difference in our lives. You may be unpopular, you will not be infamous, you'll be famous, but history will always remember you and recall you. Today, we see, we don't want to be on our customers. While you are here, yet alive amongst us, we want you to know that the work is in you and you have support, seen and unseen, known and unknown. And those moments of the night when you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why did I take this badge? Why did I take on this job? There are other people in the world praying for you, making interventions for you. So I want you to take fresh courage, take that knowledge, and sow your own. So they will recognize you in a way that we know that we are capable of doing. And with these few words, I welcome each and every one of you, illustrious ladies and gentlemen. You look so handsome and beautiful. I feel I'm already in paradise and I'm in heaven. And on top of that, we have beauty queens in the room, you know. You know, take beauty queens, plural, right? Yes. Give yourself a round of applause. So I want to do a very short video, just for a few minutes, that will tell you a lot about the Academy for Universal Global Peace. And right after, His Excellency Dr. Kiwi Kanu, the Chief Governor, will come before us and share, and then we'll go right into the presentation of the drinks and the eats and the food we have for you this evening. So I thank you very much for your patience, and we have to take your seats.
This Bible class has helped me to learn things systematically. These people came to our place and then they were taught. I got to go for people those who cannot afford their education going to college.
So my friends keep asking me questions which I cannot answer, but this has helped me a lot and there's something in the Bible which we cannot understand just by reading it. But this class has helped me understand it.
My 15 years dream to do it Bible college. And then because of this Bible college, my knowledge was enhanced. I was disciplined, my Christian living was more focused, and my faith also improved.
So I would like to recognize sitting at the table also is Reverend Lammert, who is also an international governor. And therefore, we both shall rise as I welcome to the podium our Chief Governor, His Excellency Dr. Kiwi Kalu, who will share his thoughts and insights with us for a few minutes. Dr. Kalu.
Thank you very much. Honored guest, ladies and gentlemen, friends, brothers, sisters, I'm accustomed to this thing, so it's quite okay. I welcome you here this evening. And my cause today, in conjunction with my friend, my brother, my comrade, is to honor you all this evening. Everybody seeks a champion. Everybody wants to know that there is hope somewhere. And when people run out of hope, they live a life that is bound for doom and gloom, where they see no way out. So in championing this cause in global peace, I come to you today to honor you. This is not about me. This is about you. From what I'm told and what I've been hearing is that you people are doing such a great job at building communities, building people, loving on people at your expense. And by saying that, I just want to share a little thought with you, because I can only do this in Trinidad. Okay? How many have seen like a ripe Durus mango all the way on the top of the tree, and you want to get it so bad? You know, we take rocks, dry wood, and pelt at it. But in the midst of doing that, to get that ripe mango that is all the way to the top, we end up hitting the green ones sometimes, and they fall to the ground. There's a lot of collateral damage. Okay? I almost say amen there, but I'll hold that back. Nevertheless, what am I saying? I believe in your cause. We believe in your cause. At the Academy of Universal Global Peace, we are a peace-building foundation across the globe. We are intergovernmental under the United Nations and the European Union. And as you will see today, some of the certificates that we will give to you is to recognize you for your efforts in peace building and what you have been doing silently, not looking for recognition, but making a difference in the community where you are. That my heart goes out to. I'm proud to see our people doing such a great job. So I want to say thank you. Thank you in the midst of the crisis that we face in Trinidad and Tobago today for the great job that you're doing. So we've come to recognize you and say thank you. And to continue on doing the job that you're doing, because you are making a difference. Our goal is to strive to make a difference in the communities by making a difference in readjusting the mindset. If we can readjust the mindset of the people by investing in people, by believing in people, by sowing something good into their lives, we can make a difference. We can make a huge difference by starting with one. Just love somebody, anybody. Show somebody that you care. Show somebody that you can invest in them without asking for something in return. Remember back in the old day, you could have gone to your neighbor's house when you were hungry and get some food. No strings attached. Now there are strings. You better watch that. We've become in such a state. But I'm proud to say that the things that I've been seeing and the many people that's making a difference in the community, it's worth honoring. At the Academy, We strive to make an impact on people's lives globally, which we have been doing in India, in Africa, in Europe, in the Balkans, in Albania, and we are making a difference. We have set goals of a minimum of 30,000 people per year that we touch and make a difference in their lives, and we've been hitting that number way beyond that. Anything is possible if we believe it. Corporately, we can do more than what we can do as one. It's like taking a coquillere broom. Just one, it'll break. You take about 20 of them and try to break it. We would say that's impossible. We serve one God. We are one people. We live on the same planet. We eat food the same way like everybody else. It doesn't matter what we have as far as wealth and riches and possession. We're all the same. We're human beings. We put our clothes on the same way when we wake up in the morning, unless we want to try that differently. So there ain't nobody that's better than anybody else. In the eyes of God, we're all the same. And the goal should be, that we should be striving for, is to make a difference in somebody else's lives. And that we can do. And I'm not just talking about money. We can make a difference in people's lives without money. So I thank you. Dr. Madhu Krishan is our chairman. He sends his love. And next month, God's willing, he's going to be here. We'll be back again on some other business. And would love to see you again. So tonight, I know we have a limited time on what's on the schedule. But thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate you. And we would like to honor you tonight. Thank you very much. Okay. We will be giving out some awards tonight, certificates, and just so you know, some of you will receive different awards. Our awards and credentials are recognized worldwide. We have our Peace Ambassadors certificates for people that interacts with governments and internationally. We have the Goodwill Ambassadors that interacts with the community and is making a difference in people's lives. We also have a chaplaincy program where we have trained people. Tonight we're recognizing some people who've already been engaged in the community affairs doing the same thing. So we're acknowledging them tonight with the awards as chaplains. But we have a very extensive training for chaplains that we train people how to help people, how to accommodate people, how to help them when they're going through crisis, how to work with the police department in accommodating people that gets hurt and goes through different situations, how to counsel with them, people that have to go into the hospital and don't have anybody to support them, and stuff like that. And we would make that open to you for free. If you're interested in knowing about that and the training, we'd love to give it. We also have our credentials, which we give IDs and badges, and those are also recognized. It's been issued and approved by the United Nations. So anywhere in the world we go, or you would go with your credentials, any one of our credentials, it would be recognized by pretty much every government across the world. As a peace builder, because that's the main focus that we have, and it would allow you to communicate with governments, and you would be afforded the same privileges and rights as a peace ambassador of the United Nations under the Geneva Convention. So time was kind of short. We don't have a lot of those tonight, but in the near future, we will arrange something similar like what we did tonight. However, Many of you would receive different certificates, and it's all geared up to honor you in your efforts, your great efforts, for all the work that you've been doing. So I say thank you once more.
So we will have a brief number by Mr. Alcantara on the flute as we prepare to move right into the award ceremony. And the order of the ceremony is honorary doctorates will be issued first, ambassadors for peace, certificates of excellence in that order accordingly. Some persons will receive all three, some will receive two, and also chaplaincy. The badge that His Excellency was speaking about looks like this. It carries a number. That number is registered in the UN. So when you present it at any agency in the world, the key your number in, and up will come your accreditation that shows that you are legitimate. So just to put some of you interest at mine, some of you would have found on the internet one or two disparaging comments. There was a gentleman in the East who was conferred, like you are being conferred tonight, and he thought of it as a business. And he started to clone and to manufacture awards and issue them. So he had to be shut down and pulled back. He was issued with a cease and desist. Of course, I cannot speak about everything around it because there's some confidentiality issues. But just to let you know, the number on your certificate, on your awards, are all numbers registered back to the United Nations. I want you to take note of one terminology. This is not an NGO. It is an IGO. Very big difference. It's an intergovernmental organization. And I leave it right there for now. So could we have Mr. Alcantara? You need the mic. So I may have to be your mic stand.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Kyle Alcantara, and I'll be performing You Raise Me Up. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffers, for being the hero of the mic stand. Yes. So now we've come to a very interesting moment. I would like to invite His Excellency, the Chief Governor and International Governor, Reverend Lamotte, to please join me as Mr. Olivier will read the names as we begin to the right of conferring the awards. Maybe if you want to stand to the front. And we'll be assisted by Ms. Samantha Rollock.
Conference of Doctor of Humanities, Commissioner Gary Griffith.
Can we just read one? Yes, we need to open it. I want to read what it says. Yes, read what it reads.
The instrument, as you see before you, reads United Nations University for Global Peace, USA-based intergovernmental organization, registered under the federal government of the United States of America, New Jersey registration, to the United Nations registration number, affiliated to the United Nations University for Global Peace, and ISO 9001-2008 certified by the United Kingdom. A higher education institution of the AUGP USA under federal government of the USA, affiliated to the United Nations DESA American Diplomatic Mission for World Peace on the recommendation of the World Governing Council of the United Nations University for Global Peace, USA governors of 77 countries, we hereby confer, and it reads, be it known to all that in accordance with authorization bestowed on them, the Governing Board of World Governing Council of Governors of this Academy, Delaware, USA, do confer to the recipient the degree of Doctor of Humanity, honoris causa, registration number, with all rights, privileges, immunities, and such distinction in testimony whereof then cause this certification to be imprinted with the seal of the Academy on this 5th day of September, 2019. Doctor of Humanities, Mr. George Nicholas. Doctor of Humanities, Mr. Ian Alleyne. Doctor of Humanities, Ms. Joan Yule Williams.
While they're receiving their honorary doctorates, they're also being appointed ambassadors for peace and are also receiving from the United Nations University for Global Peace certificates of excellence for their work in the field. So they're receiving 3 honors this evening.
Doctor of Humanities, Ms. Joan. Doctor of Humanities, Ms. Joan Yule Williams, as well as Ambassador for Peace and Certificate of Excellence. Doctor of Humanities, Mr. Louis Leasing, as well as Certificate of Excellence and Ambassador for Peace. Doctor of Humanities, Mr. Murchison Brown, as well as Certificate of Excellence and Ambassador for Peace. Doctor of Humanities, Brother David Muhammad. Conference of Doctors of Humanities are also being bestowed upon Mr. Philip Boxo and Mr. Mariano Brown, who are unable to be here at this time. Next, we move to the special shields are being awarded at this time to Commissioner Gary Griffith, special shield being appointed to Mr. Ian Alleyne, special shield being awarded to Ms. Joan Yule Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together again for the Doctor of Humanities recipients. At this time, we move to the conference of the Award of Doctors of Divinity. First to Archbishop Allison Jordan Bayer, who will also be receiving an Ambassador for Peace Award as well as Certificate of Excellence. Next, award to Bishop Earl Hippolyte. Next, Doctor of Divinity Award to Patriarch Stephen Julian, who will also be receiving an Ambassador for Peace as well as Certificate of Excellence. The next Doctor of Divinity Award is being bestowed upon Archbishop Dorothy Hercules, who is currently out of the country, but the award is being collected on her behalf by her daughter, Bishop Susan. She is also receiving the award as Ambassador for Peace and Certificate of Excellence. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for all the recipients of the Doctor of Divinity Awards. We move next to the conference of Chaplain, and the first recipient, Matron Camlin McClashy. She is also receiving an award as an Ambassador for Peace and a Certificate of Excellence. Reverend Leader Glenroy McClashy. Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Our next recipient, Crown King Kessel Bayer. Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Cardinal Kwame Jordan. Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Bishop Perry Anthony Diet. Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Bishop Susan Trancoso, Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Episcopal Reverend Mother Geraldine Hippolyte, Award of Chaplain, Ambassador for Peace, and Certificate of Excellence. Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to acknowledge those persons who have received the Award of Chaplains.
So the next group that we're going to honor this evening are persons who are going to be appointed as ambassadors for peace and also receive an Award of Excellence. The Award of Excellence is conferred upon you by the United Nations University for Global Peace, and the Academy for Universal and Global Peace is conferring upon you the title of Ambassadors for Peace. So what are your obligations when you receive this appointment? To continue doing all that you have been doing thus far. I'm not sure you heard me. No, I'm not sure you understand what I said. To continue doing all that you have been doing thus far. It is because of your work and your contribution to humanity is why you're receiving the conferral and acknowledgement. We know it will not change you who you are, but at least it will give you a little more gas in your tank so that you can soldier on. So it's really with great humility, a profound sense of thanksgiving and gratitude. I know some of you, Corporal Romani, think you've forgotten. Right? The work seems relentless and tireless, and there's no gratitude. People spitting upon you, cursing you, all kinds of obscene language. I don't talk about the police. Listen, sometimes I wonder if the police is God. They could read people's thoughts and people's minds. They have a crystal ball. And any problem anybody have, the police not doing nothing about it. But they are men and women. They are our brothers and sisters. Right? They hurt and they bleed just like us. But we put an unfair burden on them, Mr. Ian Allen. We need to remember they're human beings. And they can only do so much within the context of their capability and competence. And they are at the front line of an issue for which we all do not have an answer for individually. But collectively, we each put a piece of spice, a penny salt, some sugar. We put it on the counter, not in the pot. Because too many cooks. That's right. So we'll bring our ingredients to the table and let the master chefs do what they can do best. Not so? Yes. So I really want to say, this evening is not metaphorical. It is not superficial. This is not about show. Yes, you put a little ceremony around it so that you know you're special. Right? It's about going beyond borders. Whether it's mental borders, psychic borders, spiritual borders, economic borders. The block clips and gangs, inequality, inequity. And it's understanding that we are all members of the same human family. Yes? So we want to say to you, we love you. We appreciate you. And this is sometimes words are vain. Sticks and stones may break my bone, but not words. Let me tell you something. Words have more power than sticks and stones. Words can move a nation, and words have brought about many a change. So we are translating our words both with the voice and in print. And when it's written, there's only one thing that goes after that. So let it be. And that's a charge for you. So let it be. It's irrefutable in perpetuity. You are and shall always be a messenger of peace. No matter where you are, that's who you are. So this room is filled with angels. You didn't know you were an angel, right? Mayor Murchison? Mayor Murchison and Mayor Lee Singh. You know you all presided over the cosmic center of the Western Hemisphere. The capital city of Port of Spain is a cosmic center, evidenced by the Wheel of Life, the footpaths of Woodford Square, to the Fountain of Life, with the goddess Aphrodite and Eros, the scales of justice on the northwestern corner, the scrolls, the record of our civilization, the key to the door, commerce on the eastern side of the square, God on the southern side, the door of hospitality in the old fire station, the scepter of authority at the Red House, the gold standard on Knox Street, and the sword of defense in the Temple's Court. And I rested there. That is what you presided over as mayor. And much more. So allow me to step away. We will not speak about each person individually, because then we'll be here till 11 o'clock. We'll call you up in batch of 10. The chief governor and my fellow international governor will present 3 at a time, so that we can get you home to your loved ones early. Is that fair? Is that okay? Do I have your permission? Thank you very much. Ma'am.
The following recipients for the Ambassador for Peace Award and Certificates of Excellence: Ms. Adiola Khalifa McAllister, Ms. Alicia Jagasa, Archbishop Alison Jordan Bayer. The names which have already received their appointments do not need to come forward at this time, but we will call to acknowledge all persons. Andrew Alleyne, Ms. Annette Stapleton Seaforth, Ms. Alleyne Tappan Keynes, Ms. Avian Joyu. Calling next. Ms. Camlin McClashy, Ms. Candida Anno, Mr. Cedric Hazelwood, Mr. Craig Ferguson, and Mr. David George. Please put your hands together for the following recipients for Ambassador for Peace Awards as well as Certificates of Excellence. Miss Denise Nurse Dean, Miss Desiree De Freitas, Miss Deanne Dumas, Miss Donna Bermudez Bovel, and Mr. Elvin Reed. Please put your hands together for the following recipients of Ambassadors for Peace and Certificates of Excellence. Please give them a wonderful round of applause. Thank you. Next recipients, Mr. Elvis O'Connor, Mr. Errol Fabian, Mr. Gordon Walcott, Mr. Gautam Maharaj, and Dr. Hazel Brown. Yes. Inspector Ian Charles, Miss Ingrid Jara, Mr. John Ned, Pastor Joseph Keynes, and Mr. Joshua Hamlet. Please put your hands together for the following recipients of Ambassadors for Peace Award and Certificates of Excellence. Congratulations. Next, Mr. Kareem Marcel, Miss Karen Bart Alexander, Miss Carice Aziz, Constable Kevin Romani, and Dr. Kemraj Nanhu. Congratulations to the following recipients. Calling next, WPC Kizzy Henry, Dr. Louis Nurse, Miss Marian Judy Taylor, WPC Mauricia Phillip, and Miss Michelle Campo. Congratulations to recipients of Ambassadors for Peace Award and Certificates of Excellence. Next awardees, Miss Monica Ferguson, Pastor Naipol Gosain, PC Nigel Alder, Superintendent Oswin Suberu, and Miss Patricia Ganes. No, I'll just. Congratulations. The next recipient of Ambassador for Peace and Certificate of Excellence, Mrs. Nicole Dyer Griffith.
Young lady, because I knew her mother. Her mother worked with us, and that's how we met her. And she was going to represent Trinidad and Tobago. I'll never forget. We were doing a program in Sealots. And this young lady came down in Sealots in the trenches. And you would never believe the fingers was well manicured, everything well made up. But you would swear that she was a farmer. And she was farming lives. She brought a value and an esteem to the people in Sealots that those young people whom you met that day still ask about you. And it's the question they ask, when are you coming again? Have you forgotten them? Okay? But I want to say that, you know, many times people are elevating and they forget their roots. She's firmly rooted and planted. And I want to say, even though he's the commissioner of police, I want to tell him she has many fathers. And this one didn't have the opportunity to tell you, yes, you may have a hand in marriage. So it's indeed our honor to more than just single you out, but to tell you that the seeds that you have sown so many years ago, they are bearing fruit. Continue on your journey.
Congratulations. Calling the following recipients, Mrs. Pearl Badal, Mr. Ricardo Sincere, Mr. Robin Jagdip, Mrs. Roxanne Mohammed, WPC Sharon Alfonso. Mrs. Sherry Smith Pear, Calling the following recipients: Ms. Santina Parejo, Emeritus Archbishop Sheila Jordan, Pundit Tulsi Prasad, Ms. Tracy Aliong, and Ms. Vanita Budai. The award for Mrs. Roxanne Muhammad will be received by her husband on her behalf, Brother David Muhammad. The award for Emeritus Archbishop Sheila Jordan will be received by Reverend Annette Jordan. Please put your hands together. Congratulations to the following recipients. Calling the following recipients: Mr. Vijay Ramai, Mr. Virgil Patrick, Dr. Wayne Kublal Singh, Mr. Wayne Planchat, Mr. Wendell Stephen, and Mr. Zachary Medina.
Good day. Hi. We now would like to present Ambassadors for Peace Certificates and Excellence to Samantha Rolock and Anissa Oliver. Once more, a round of applause for these two hard workers.
So you will notice that they were working, right? And we observed something. Those who live in the house are part of the preparation for when you're receiving guests. And you receive guests, and you give the guests the best. And when you're cleaning up the kitchen after, it's then those who belong to the house that get a little something. So what we say is that always remember that those who work in the vineyard must always also be recognized. In many companies, we serve the people. And those who serve the people, we forget those people who serve the people. And that's the lesson we want to share. So congratulations, Samantha, Anissa. So Chief Governor, will you have the closing part, the final words? While Sister Khalifa prepared to sing a song.
Well, thank you once more. It's been such a privilege and pleasure to be here and share with you. Mr. Alleyne, I just wanted to say this to you that many months ago, when we had the flooding in Trinidad, and it was heartbreaking, and just seeing the work that you've done on the ground really touched my heart. And I like His Excellency says, I purpose to meet you and say to you that I appreciate what you were doing for the people. And I must say, I've never seen a commissioner of police directing traffic. But what an example. What an example. I'm proud. I'm proud to be a Trini. You know, I recognize quite a few faces. Names may not be all that great with me right now. It's been 20-some years, so excuse me with that. But I see familiar faces. And it really makes me proud to see our own people caring and loving on people. I've pastored for many years. I've been in church. I'm a church guy. And I know how to love on people. And let me tell you, you're doing a great job. I'm very proud. God bless you. I had to say that.
Khalifa.
Good evening, ambassadors of peace. Congratulations to all the doctors and fellow ambassadors. I wrote this song specifically for this event. It's called Change, and I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you. Can you put it up? Thank you. I've seen black, I've seen white, I've seen wrong, I've seen right, I've seen things that I should have not seen. No, in the middle of the night, praying to God, looking to see the sunlight so I can rise and fulfill my destiny. Lord, help me to be the change I want to see. Lord, help me to realize that it's up to me. Lord, help me to make the changes I need to make. Yes, I. What in the world are we fighting for when we tired of the lies and we fed up of the war? And we fed up of the war. Come on, brother, can you hold my hand? Don't you see I'm your sister? Can't you see you're my brother? Yeah, we sit on one another. Lord, help me to be the change I want to see. Lord, help me to realize that it's up to me. Lord, help me to make the changes I need to make. Yes, I. Lord, help me to be the change change. To create a change, Lord. You're the one needs love. You're the one needs peace. You're the one needs love. You all think the world needs love? But you all do all right doing your part, right? You're the one needs more love. You're the one who needs peace. You're the one who needs change. You're the one who needs change. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to liven up this space a little bit. This is a favorite song by the audiences that I sing to. It's called Pigeon Peas. You all know about Pigeon Peas, right? Yes. All right, so you're going to help me sing this, right? Yes. Well, for the ones who know, and then the ones who now come, you'll get anything. So next time we meet, you'll be singing the tune too, more than me, right? Thank you, guys. All right, let me go. When I'm feeling low and I'm about to give up, Lord, please help me till the soul, so my crop it will not fall up. Lord, you know it ain't easy trying to get to the top. Help me water my seed daily, so no joy can make the growth stay. Lord, plant me like you plant pigeon peas, make me versatile with you. Keep me rooted for. With your peace, and when the children blows, make me tough, keep me rooted firm and prop me up. Harvest time is here, Lord, plant me like you plant pigeon peas. Harvest time is here, Lord, plant me like you plant pigeon peas. Harvest time is here, Lord, plant me like you plant pigeon peas. Harvest time is here, Lord, plant me like you plant. Oh, Lord, plant me like you plant. When the cherry blows, make me tough, keep me rooted firm and prop. Plant me like a plantation peas, make me versatile with your peas. When the cherry blows, make me tough, keep me rooted. What's your guess again me? When the cherry blows, make me tough, keep me rooted firm and prop me up. Plant me like your plantation peas, make me versatile with your peas. When the cherry blows, when the cherry blows. Thank you. Love you all and congratulations again.
Thank you, Khalifa. So we're almost done. There were a few persons who were supposed to have also received instruments this evening, but we had a little glitch with the printer's level. So everything did not come up. So those who did not hear the names this evening, we will have a special ceremony to confer the instruments upon you. So please accept our apologies. It was really beyond our control. And as we are about, Indira Sajbanali is one such person. You're in the midst. Could you stand up so we can acknowledge you? You've been doing tremendous work in this country. And I should have said Dr. Indira Sajbanali. And she's also taken her economics, and she now has a kitchen with Whole Foods. So talk to her before you leave. So we have one more item, and this is up to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is right and fitting that there should be a response. We have not predetermined who will respond. We leave the floor open for any one, two, or three of you to bring a response. The floor is now open.
I'll start. Your Excellencies, Mrs. Belgrove and team, ladies and gentlemen, as I sat there looking at the conference of the awards and so, many thoughts were going through my head. And one of those thoughts was how absolutely appreciative I was to be recognized. Because for those of you who may know me or know of me, I mean Karen, Gary, and a few others, you know that we are people, as Mr. Belgrove has said. My mother always told me, if you come upon someone who needs a jersey and you're wearing a jersey, the correct thing to do is to give them yours, because when you return, you'd have another one there. And so that has been my orientation from way back when Mr. Belgrove knew us, from Yea High to all the way moving forward. And so you give and give and give. And I am certain that is the orientation of everyone here this evening, or else you would not have been here this evening. So when your orientation is to give and to keep giving, many times you even forget about the simple thank you, because you're not accustomed to getting it. And for those of us who don't ever get it, it doesn't bother you, because that is not your orientation. Your orientation is not to seek gratitude or to seek recognition, but to give, because that is what you were put here to do. So therefore, those few times when someone stops and looks back and says, thank you, I see you, it really means a lot. It means more that you can really put in words, and I want to say thank you so very much for the acknowledgement, for the recognition, for the gratitude, for pulling this together, bringing like minds of humans together who all recognize what we were placed here for. So again, thank you so very much, and keep doing the excellent job you're doing.
So you hear woman power? So men, who's going to represent? We keep it real, right?
Pleasant good evening. It's a joy to be here, Your Excellencies, fellow recipients of awards. I feel truly honored to be in a place like this with somebody like Ms. Jo Newell-Williams, who I think everybody knows as Auntie, and we can all attest to her excellent performance over the years in humanity. And I took a page from her book, being part of the hearts and minds who may know of it. And with the same enthusiasm, try to do similar things and even different things in the same area in which you grew up and had done so many works over the years. I want to thank my comrades, thank you honorable gentlemen for bestowing an honor like this upon our fellow recipients, people who are in the field, who love human beings and are striving every day to ensure that those, especially those who are in need, will receive that love and care and attention that they need so desperately. May God bless us all. Thank you very much.
So can we have just one more? Okay, yes, sure. Thank you. Mr. Ned, I'll give you a special opportunity.
Thank you. Good evening, one and all. His Excellencies, distinguished guests, Commissioner, fellow members who have been bestowed with this great honor. It is a wonderful time for us to be acknowledged, and we thank you for that, because this world is under challenge. The ways to do right and good are being challenged now. We see it all around the world. Those stand up for good who are knocked down. We see the Amazon on fire. We see South Korea. We see Iran. We see all the stuff on television. And of course, our famous commissioner we see every night. And of course, Ms. Dowling, your show, you know. And so I would like to thank His Excellencies for traveling to Trinidad, and for His Excellency Mr. Sterling Belgrove and Mrs. Belgrove for their kindness in recognizing that this is a time to step forward. It's not a time to step back. This is when those who have good in their heart, who purpose to do good, and who are called, listen to the call and go forward and go further. Thank you.
A man from the trenches, I really, when he stood up, could not let him come and say something. Really, Mr. Ned.
Thank you. Afternoon, everybody. I want to say thanks to everybody who here, you know, particularly the Rose Foundation, but for all those of us who work in the trenches, because the trenches is not only where I live, you know. I share a little experience with you all. This week, I sell saddle roti in the morning, and a young man came out beating his sister. About 4 weeks ago, the police held him for murder. Kind of suspect him. I ain't calling no names, so. We was kind of vexed with him for beating his sister. But my daughter, who are training now to be the roti lady, she just left school at 16. But I told her, I say, how many girls at 16, you know, have their own business? She said, Daddy, you don't think we should give him something? I said, why? Because if we leave him hungry, he might kill his sister. And that is what we deal with on a daily basis. I want to also mention some heroes. The IATF Hearts and Minds, you know, Mr. Romani, officer there, Mr. Subero, Mr. Reed, Mr. Charles. You know, these are people who I admire. Mr. Griffith, I kind of get in a sense that you don't like soft policing, but Mr. Griffith, these people, Mr. Griffith, is heroes. We have a center in Gonzales, JCSC, like what I want to be done, and it's wasting, so. And when you look at it, please, right? It's wasting. And Mr. Charles, and they know what they're saying. Police just come there twice a week, 2 hours a day, you know, and twice a week sometimes. The facility wasting, so, and there's so much you could do with it. We'll talk afterward maybe, but you know, it's a pleasure to be among you guys, you know, but I just had to advocate for the ghetto because we here.
Mr. Ned, you get a standing ovation, Mr. Ned. So you see why I cannot not let him come to the podium? And I want to now call on one person, because in our Beyond Borders program in partnership with the Hearts and Minds, Bptt is our major partner and sponsor, who has allowed the use of this box. In that program, we started an initiative on the Bptt called Cultural Cuisine Exchange. So Mr. Vijay Ramai, a businessman from DB, agreed to facilitate the training of the women on the Bptt and Laventille in making bus up shot and Indian cuisine. But not only that, to have them come down and live in DB to mentor them. So they're in the Ramayan, they're in the prayer, they're in the wedding, learning how to do things 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And in addition to which, if you did not know, I would say it for the first time, David Penal has a very peculiar and special business model. And they are teaching the people on the Bptt and Laventille that business model. So it is Bptt, Laventille, meet David. David Penal come into Bptt, Laventille. I want to honor him by giving him 2 minutes at the podium. And don't forget Auntie Shun here, so you had to behave yourself.
Governors, Mr. and Mrs. Belgrove, Auntie June, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must say namaste. Namaste, according to my cultural code, really means that all of us are one. You know, I always keep saying that religion is a container for spirituality, and what really matters more is spirituality. And through the mentorship of Mr. Belgrove, you know, I always consider him to be my academic guru. When I was doing my MBA, he always stood by my side and ensured that I became the valedictorian in my cohort last year. You know, and I always say that gratitude is when the memory is kept in the heart and not in the mind. And one of the ways of saying thanks to him is working alongside with him in all of his endeavors and ensuring that he becomes the righteous person in this country. You know, and I always look forward to helping and serving together with him. So I really consider him my guru, and wherever he goes, I will be going. Thank you.
I'm going on busty files now. I thought he would have embraced the opportunity. He has one dream, and we're going to make that dream real this evening. And guess what that dream is? He would like Captain Gary Griffith to be able to shake your hand. We listen to people's dreams. It seems like such a simple dream, doesn't it? But do you understand? For him, he has a hero. And like a child, I want to shake the hand of my hero. So that's from the heart. And then what did we notice? You didn't just get a handshake, you know. Get a brotherly embrace. Yes? So I would now like to invite the queen of all of this, Mrs. Belgrove, to close us.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to say a special good evening to the Honorable Commissioner of Police, Mr. Gary Griffith, the man who gets things done. As a matter of fact, since Mr. Vijay Ramai just moved from here, he was speaking to us about a project about creating Gigi dolls for Christmas. And he has already begun to source it. I hope I'm not talking out of turn. He has already begun to source it out of India, and he's now looking for the electronic voicing to put into it. And we think that is going to be a great seller. You know? Because the message in the doll is what will make the difference. And the message to the children is what will make the difference. So it's not just about the doll, but it is about building a peace-loving nation. Because we always talk war, we always talk crime, but our language has to change to peace. Because what we speak, we bring into being. So this evening, all of you ambassadors are the spark of light that will continue and will raise peace in the nation. Recently, we were called to have a prayer at Woodford Square, a prayer of healing for the nation, because there was a spiritual revelation that there was going to be an upheaval in the nation and that there were guns hidden everywhere. So you know you have to be careful how you speak these things on the phone, lest you be called a terrorist, even though it's a vision. So we had the prayer, and immediately after the prayer, at Woodford Square, we said, no more, no more, no more. Within 3 days, a major gang leader went to sleep. We didn't put him to sleep, you know, but the Holy Spirit revealed and did something. Then right after that, a number of events, which I will not speak about, began to occur in the country. What did it say to us? It said, if we pray together, if we lift up our hearts with sincerity, God will hear our prayer and He will answer. Our country, Trinidad and Tobago, is a very peculiar one. And not many people can lead this country because it is not led by the mind. It is led by the heart. And that is the secret to governing this country. It is the secret to governing this country is about having a social conscience. If you are hungry every day, if you are in a cramped space where in the evening you have to take turns to sleep in your bed, and therefore you have to stand on the street corners awaiting your turn to go to sleep, right here in this country. If you, right in the city, do not have good sanitary facilities, and a community has to line up 20 persons at a time to go to an outhouse right in the city. If you have your children and you cannot see, every time you go to get a job or do something, you are told there is no space, not because you are not qualified, but because of where you live. If you, for 5 generations, have to put on your centerpiece in your living room all the bills in a jar, so that when your door is broken down 3 o'clock in the morning, you can prove that you own these things that you have. And generation after generation, you are going through this. How would your sentiment be towards those through whom you are experiencing this? So, love, we all need it. There are those who are just pests, I do agree. But they weren't born that way. Something happened. And Our words are power. So I would like to suggest that we stop saying our country is in trouble. We can say our country needs love. Our country needs discipline. Our country needs a social conscience. And our country needs to understand who it is and who we are. And every person you meet, you educate them about where they live, because they don't have a vested interest and understanding. When we speak to the young men in their communities, and we begin to point out the assets of where they live, they say, no one has ever told us this. So the heroes in the communities need to be highlighted more than those who are doing what is negative. We can begin to put up posters of the heroes so that they go beyond the front page of the newspaper. Those, some of the challenges, I'm just giving you some insight of the issues of gang violence, has been because we have not looked at the children of the coup. The children of the coup, who are now all adults, they went through the pain of the experience of being marginalized because of their parents. And one strategy that was given, that I will speak publicly now, was to engage the Jamaat school, keep them there. We got agreement that even police officers can go in as teachers and teach. They could monitor and supervise and do counseling. But of course, you know, that was a challenge. But what happened? Those children were sent out into the public school system as leaders. And they became very strong leaders. And their pain was passed on. And their pain is still there and is still being passed on to their children because they are feeling marginalized. Then there are the children who generationally have seen their parents killed before their eyes, their neighbors, their friends, their sons. So there is a need in the school system, in the education system, to have a trauma counseling. Because children 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds have asked us, what do we do? These are the ages. If I live in the house and my mother has 2 fathers and the children are all there, if my mother dies, whose property is it? These are 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds who are asking these type of very legitimate questions. So the children are not unintelligent. And we have to begin to speak to them of the real issues that face them in their life. They are more in an adult space than we can understand. So this building a peace-loving nation, it's about not being fake society, saying the right things, appearing to do the right things, but not doing it. I want to encourage you because when the selections were being made, it was not lightly done. It was very specifically done. because of the heart of selfless service that we have seen, we experienced, and we have heard in the conversations of the people in the country. So it was not a decision made by the individuals because of their individual experience. It was because you are indeed touching lives and contributing. And do not give up, because maybe you are about to. And this opportunity that you have, there is another stage coming, 2020. We were in South Korea last week, and we were called, you know why? They are launching Vision 2020, and they asked us to come and guide them as to how that Vision 2020 should work in order for them to achieve self-sustainability for their young people in South Korea, where the people line up to go into Louis Vuitton stores. Can you imagine? But it was more about heart. They have the material, but they don't have the heart. So the first thing that we said was Vision 2020 is the symbol of perfect sight. It is not the number of the year. And that is what it was always intended to be for Trinidad and Tobago. So I would like to say thank you to all of you for coming here today, for your insight, for your patience, because I know a lot of you have appointments, but you took time out of your busy schedule to be here, and we do appreciate it. I'd like to thank the entertainers, and I'd like to thank Khalifa for penning words with meaning to give a message that is real. I would like to thank those of you who have responded and given us words of encouragement and guidance, because it is important. The ministers of the cloth, those particularly who have received their chaplaincy and their doctorates, honorary doctorates in divinity, your responsibility is even greater. Because unless the Lord build a house, all the labor is in vain. So we thank you, and we ask you to continue to walk in safety. Put God first in all things. Bless your families. Very soon we'll be calling you, because there's a program that is going to be held soon where we have begun to gather persons who have been living in common law relationships for over 10 years. And we have begun to gather to have a marriage ceremony, because we recognize in the schools, the children in primary schools are having problems with their identities, and it is because of the dysfunctional families. So we are getting those families, we are helping them, getting them their wedding dress and their rings and the cake and all of the things that they like, and to get married. And we're going to host the ceremony in Woodford Square, and with all the pomp and pageantry, as like we did with the prayer, and of the quality that is required. And we are going to have also those who have been having challenges, some renewal of vows, so that we begin to reknit and rebuild families. So we would like you all to be a part of that, because in wherever you are, where there are persons who you know, because of circumstances, they could not go through the legal process, but they want to, let us help them, because it will also stabilize our society. It will create a stable family lives. And also it gives us an opportunity to better counsel families so that they can know how to live together. Thank you so much for your air.
Thank you very much. Just to add one thing to that. Have you heard? Meet my child mother. My child father. Not my wife. Right? And the children don't know how to describe. So it puts them in a very unfortunate place. So I would like to thank PCIC, Pastor Lamont, the Chief Governor of the Academy for Universal Global Peace, the United Nations University of Global Peace. The chaplaincy is an international ministry. So you're no longer just Trinidad and Tobago. Your work is global. All of your lives have changed today. And over the next year, we will support you and work with you where you are. And there will be opportunities and exposures of different types and kinds. We have to build a delegation to go to South Korea in February. 3,000 world leaders will gather in South Korea, February 2020. Present and former heads of state, congressmen, heads of academia, heads of media, heads of religion. 100,000 persons from the 195 countries on the planet will be mobilized and gathered in South Korea for the World Summit to launch Vision 2020. We do trust and hope that some of you in this room will be a part of the Caribbean delegation in South Korea, February 2020. Under another umbrella, in the Dominican Republic, there will be a convention of 12,000 persons from the region, a peace convention in the Dominican Republic, December 15. We'll talk to you about that also. And in October, our chairman founder, Dr. Madhu, is expected to be in Trinidad and Tobago. And the chief governor and I was discussing this evening to also bring to Trinidad and Tobago the Attorney General of the United Nations. Yes, the United Nations has an Attorney General. It's a permanent position. And some other officials from the United Nations to engage us in conversation, in strategies as to how do we build a better society. And that you too may have a voice, not just in national and regional affairs, but in global affairs, and leave your mark behind. So ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, honorary doctorates, honoris causa, you know, there was a debate at Harvard. Which doctorate degree is more important, an earned degree or an honorary degree? And at the end of the day, the honorary degree was likened unto a soft Nobel laureate prize. And it said that an honorary degree is bestowed upon those whose life work is so great. Like Dr. J.D. Elder once said, if I were to go for a degree at any university, who will mark my papers? Who can mark my papers? So your life is a life that cannot be subject to the matriculation of academia, but is grounded in theory, which is a hallmark of intellectual development. And I have been creating some problems in the corridors of universities. They said, God has no business in academia. And I said, yes, but everything must be grounded in theory, yes? They said, yes. So let's linguistically define theory. The root of theory is theo, which is God, and ry means principle. So theory is God's principle, and therefore everything must be grounded in God's principles. So we have to redefine the language. We have to ensure that our future generations are not subject to a social distribution of knowledge, but a real education. And that's another conversation. We have to begin to teach them English, Brother David. We speak a dialectic of English. We don't really speak English, huh? And if you did not know, English is of German origin. Her Majesty the Queen is German, not English. So things are not as they appear. And as the mystic prowler sang, go beneath the surface. And that's what we need to do. Go beneath the surface. So your charge is to continue doing what you have done. Pass the baton on to others. You are mentors. You are icons. You are leaders. People follow you. People pattern their lives after you. Dr. Griffith, Mr. Ramai goes to bed sleeping at night. Lord, when he prayed to his deities, he asks them for a blessing to be able to meet you one day and shake your hand. So his prayer has been answered. Now, it may seem funny, and we may laugh at it, right? But humor, fun, is the first underlying note of creation. But how many other people like him go to sleep at night and ask, can I meet him one day? Can I touch the hem of his garment? Who are you? You are a light. You're all lights. And if you're all lights, let us illuminate this country. I wish you all the best. May God bless you and your families, the labor of your hands, the offspring of your body, your family relations and friends, even those over land and sea. May whatever you set your hands to do be productive. May you know no want. May you always have food in your cupboards, water in your pitchers, and paisa, pani alewa in your wallet. Hana beta? Yes, I'm a Trini. So that whatever your prayer is, whatever your concern is today, that you will receive that solution and that inspiration, and all things will work together for good. If you don't have adversity in your life, you cannot appreciate blessing. I leave you with these statements. If you were never cold, and someone comes to you and says, I am cold, you will not be able to empathize because you never felt cold. If you were never hungry, you will not understand the hunger of another. So the trials or the experiences of your life is so that you can have empathy for one another. I thank you very much for accepting the award. And Mr. Ian Allen, I have to give you a special thank you. In your response, you did something that has only been seen in the circles of royalty. I will whisper to you quietly what that is. But we observe. And in his response to us, he invoked a particular etiquette which royal families are taught. So it says something about you, sir. Whoever taught you, please extend to us our congratulations. You did a very good job. Chief Governor, thank you for your confidence in us. The Chief Governor made only 2 nominations in this room, Captain Gary Griffith and Ian Allen. And he left the rest to us in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you for the confidence you have reposed in us. Fellow Governor, thank you for being here as an anchor, and we have lots of work to do. Okay? To the technicians, the media, everyone, those in front of the scene and those behind the scene, thank you very much for this wonderful experience and this opportunity. We have refreshments, and I would like someone, let's all stand and go back to school. Could we all stand, please? Let's go back to school. Primary school, kindergarten school. Right, we won't do the hands up out down a part, right? But we say grace before meals, right? Do you remember it? How does it go? Table, Lord, be here. Bless these. For Christ's sake. Amen. Our last daughter will say, Daddy, that is too long. We say, God is great, God is good. Thank him for our food. Amen. Time to eat. Bon appetit. Dinner is served.